again, use it or lose it, friends, where I help you get every penny out of your food dollar and keep food out of the landfill and help climate change a little bit. So today, we're talking about reinventing leftovers. They're not leftovers, they're makeovers. So I was at a lunch, somebody brought in lunch for a group, and there was a lot left over. So a couple of us split it up, and it was Mexican from a fast casual restaurant. So I have brown rice, barbecue or grilled chicken, pinto beans, tortilla chips. I think that was kind of everything that came. And so I thought, well, gee, what am I going to do with all that? I could just eat it as a bowl, sure, as was originally intended. But you know me, I can't leave well enough alone. So is it loaded nachos or is it a Mexican casserole? I'll leave that to you to decide. So here I have my ingredients. So I have the grilled chicken and the brown rice. I'm adding fresh green pepper and fresh chopped onion, as well as the pinto beans. They were kind of tasteless. Sorry, Qdoba, but and salsa, reduced fat Mexican cheese, cumin, garlic, chili powder. Going to use up some dried cilantro that I've had lying around, and we're going to mix that all up together, and we're going to put it on top of the tortilla chips. So they're kind of like a crust. So I'm kind of winging it in terms of proportions. You certainly want it to be wet enough that it will reconstitute that rice that's been in the fridge, and it's a little dry. So we're going to dump all of this stuff into the bowl. So it's about a cup of chicken, 2 cups of rice, about a half a cup each of onion and green pepper. I figured that was a good starting point. 2 times as much grains as meat. Now we're going to dump in some of these pinto beans. We want some of that pinto bean juice too. I'm going to give it a stir to see how my proportions are looking. Wow, what do you know? That amount I dumped in looks about right. Okay, now I'm going to add salsa. Ooh, I almost forgot the hot sauce. Because I like my food spicy. Well, and I may add some canned tomatoes. We'll see how it goes with the little bit of salsa I have left in the jar. Probably about a half a cup. Because I want it moist, but not too wet, because then it'll just be soupy. Yeah, we're going to add some canned tomatoes, so hold on. Diced canned tomatoes. You could use fresh tomatoes if you like, but mine aren't quite ripe enough, so why put woody tomatoes into this? No. About a half a cup. Yeah, that looks better. So here's what we got going on. See, what do I always say? Colorful food. You got green, you got red, you got the dark brown from the chicken, etc., etc. So now I'm going to season it. And I am confident that there is enough salt on the chicken that I don't need to add more salt. So just kind of, and like I said, because the beans were pretty bland, I'm going heavy on the seasoning because I like my food highly seasoned, which is okay since not using salt, so health-wise, good way to go. Chili powder, garlic, cumin, some of this dried cilantro, because we're going for that Mexican flavor profile. Stir that all up. Get that well incorporated. Always go for a bowl bigger than what you think you need because that really lets you turn everything and get it stirred up real good. Or even well. All right. Just going to give it a little taste. So when we bake this off, everything in here, oh, I just remembered another thing. Corn. Yeah. Now it tastes like something. Going to throw in some frozen corn. And it doesn't matter that these are frozen. They'll thaw and heat up when we bake this in the oven. And it's adding more color. All right. So once again, about a half a cup. That's like the magic number. Oh, it's beautiful. And of course, it wouldn't be pseudo loaded nachos if we didn't add cheese. Now I'm going to incorporate some and then put more on the top to melt because then it'll be nice and ooey gooey. Just the way we want it. If I can ever... You want more than half a cup. I know I do. So we'll just get some of that stirred in. Hit it with some hot sauce. Yeah. Hot sauce of your choice. If you like Cholula, go with Cholula or whatever your heart desires. And you can always add more at the table. So, but you want some to be in there to give it a nice little kick. All right. So this is now all mixed up. And we're going to pour it into our dish here. Get that spread out. I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven because, you know, that's sort of like when in doubt, do 350. And again, we're just heating everything up since everything is already cooked. So it's probably going to take a good 20 to 30 minutes for it to heat all the way through because this is pretty dense. Oh, it's so pretty. I did spray the pan with Pam before I put the tortilla chips on just to make sure that stuff didn't get all stuck. And now we're going to put more cheese on top. Just a nice layer. Okay, ready to go in the oven. So I'll be back in a little while with our ooey gooey loaded nachos or Mexican casserole. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes, just like I thought, and it's hot out of the oven. It's all bubbling. I can hear it hissing. So I know it's ready, and I could also see that it was bubbling along the bottom because that's an indicator that it's heated through if it's bubbling at the bottom. So now, the moment of truth. Not quite sure what to use to serve this. Should I use like a pie server, cake server, a spoon? I'm going with spoon. So, careful, it's hot. And of course, you can top this with your classic nacho or Mexican toppings, such as sour cream, black olives, lettuce, whatever you want. Hey, you know, you're throwing it together so you can make it whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going with it like this. Turns out I still have just a touch of salsa left in the jar. And remember, we don't want this stuff going in the landfill or in the sewer system. So I'm just going to scrape out that last bit and give it a taste. And I may even throw some extra chips in the bowl and like scoop it up. I don't know. Delicious. Those extra seasonings that I added really elevated this from the original ingredients. The hot sauce is now kicking in. Pardon me for speaking with my mouth full of delicious food. And I got that crunchy stuff on the bottom. So it's a win. So remember, you can always turn those leftovers into something else. Just use a little bit of imagination, add some fresh stuff. And by the way, I didn't mention, the green pepper that I put in there was kind of wrinkly. So this was a good way to use up some green pepper that maybe wasn't so good to eat raw, but it's perfect for a casserole. So that's it for today on Use It or Lose It, and I'll see you next time. Bye!